Hello, and welcome to Challenge 2 of Python 150, where I am going through all 150 challenges in this book here by Nichola Lacey, Python by Example. Really good book if you're thinking about getting into Python. I'd really recommend getting a copy. It's really beautiful, lovely examples, really good challenges. Big fan of the book. And as I'm such a big fan of the book, I'm working through every challenge, and we are on challenge 2. But I'm not just going to solve each challenge once, I'm going to solve each challenge 3 times. A beginner time, a medium time, and an advanced time. We've already done challenge 1, and we are now moving on to challenge 2. And this is challenge 2. Ask for the user's first name, and then ask for their surname, and display the output message, hello, first name, surname. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to jump straight into it. And for the beginner code, what we're going to do is we are going to just do this as simply as possible. The minimum effort. Like, what do I have to do to scrape by? And this is what you have to do. So we're going to say first, actually, no, I'm not, I'm going to, you could, I just thought of a really dumb way you could do this, but I'm not going to do that. So we're going to say first name equals input, and we're going to say what is your first name, and then I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to just get rid of first, and I'm going to say surname, and I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to say surname, and then I'm going to say print. I'm going to say hello. I think you can still do this. I think you can do comma. First name, I never use commas, it feels weird, surname, and when you put commas I think it will join them with a space and everything should be fine. And let's see if everything is fine, because we are going to roleplay as Bob Smith, and we are going to we're going to see if this works. So what's your first name? Bob. What is your surname? Smith. Hello, Bob Smith. And then you can see medium and advanced have nothing because we've not filled them in yet. Cool. Hello, Bob Smith. I was thinking, okay, you could go one stupider here. And for science, let's just quickly rearrange this. So instead of assigning these variables, you could actually just take that and replace that here. Let's put these on different lines. So print hello, comma, input, comma, and input. Oh, it feels so bad doing this. This is like extra. This isn't basic because it's a bit like Shakespeare, like you know the rules and now you're breaking them kind of thing. So technically this should work exactly the same, but it's just written in a really derpy way. Okay, so let's try this. What's your first name? Bob. What's your surname? Smith. Hello, Bob Smith. So it's working. We're getting it works, but it is not nice. Let's leave this as a tribute to. This is a tribute to bad code. There we go. Lovely. Now we're going to jump into medium. Okay. Last time we had to do something very similar, and we're going to kind of model that. We're going to go through it again, and we're just going to model that. So we're going to be using a data class. And Python doesn't, it's like, what is a data class? We need to import it. So I'm going to press Control full stop. So holding down Control, pressing full stop. I'm going to say from data classes, import data class, so that top one, and that's going to import it in here. I actually want this to go to the top of my file, so I'm just going to cut that and paste it up here. Delete that. There we go. Lovely. I'm also just going to close up beginner. I can use this little arrow, close that up, just so that it's kind of out of the way for now. Data class. We are going to have a data class called, well, it's a class and it's a person. This time we have a first name, which is a string, and we have a surname, which is a string. Does this want to be a data class? Yeah, let's leave it as a data class for now. And then we are going to make a class method. So we're going to say define from user input. Ooh. And that is going to take CLS as a argument. We're going to pop that down a little bit. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do something slightly similar to this, right? So we're going to take that, we're going to pop that there, we're going to take this. Oh, I did not want to paste that. Oh no. Copy. Okay, but actually what we're actually going to do is we're going to print what is your first name, and we're going to print what is your surname, and then we're going to say first name equals, what does it equal? It equals input, and we're going to put first name colon space so that it looks nice and official, because if you look here, we just are writing this like right next to the question mark here. That is weak. So first name, surname. Let's change our variable name to surname, and we're going to change our text here to surname. And then we're going to return a CLS where first name equals first name. So you can see here, this is called first name, this is called surname, and this is called first name, this is called surname. I feel like that might be like slightly confusing if you're coming to this quite new. So I could rename these. So for instance, I could call this last name. I guess I could just call this name. Okay, so then I could say first name equals name, and then I could say surname equals last name. Just so you can see the distinction between the two things there. So we've got first name and surname on the person, and we're creating a new person. This CLS thing like automatically represents person. Try not to think about it too much. I don't. It's just there and it does it. Because we called this a class method, this is a decorator, this does magical things to this function. We then have this. We can then do that. Don't look into the void. Okay, first name equals name. Name is this, input first name. Surname equals last name. Last name is this, input surname. And we're returning that from this function from user input. So we can say user equals person dot from user input, and that is going to get us a brand new person. And then we need to say hello first name surname. That's still feel bad about that. Okay, so then we're going to say print, and we're going to do a format string, I think, here. So we're going to say hello, and I'm going to put curly brackets 0, curly brackets 1. Notice I've not put an F at the start of the string like I did in the last challenge, and I'm going to say .format instead. And .format is we're going to pass in some arguments to this. So we're going to pass in user.firstname, comma, user.surname. And what that's going to do is it's going to take the first thing, and it's going to put it where 0 is. It's going to take the second thing, and it's going to put it where 1 is. And if I had more numbers, it would then match them up like that. So that's going to substitute those in for us nicely. And that is our medium challenge. So let's have a look and see if that is working. So with Bob Smith, and we are Jim Johnson, I guess. So let's go. What is your first name? Bob. What is your surname? Smith. Boom. Okay. Hello, Bob Smith. Medium. What is your first name? Notice already, much nicer formatted. Jim Johnson. Hello, Jim Johnson. So that's working nicely. Okay, on to advanced. Now, what I'd like to do is I'd actually like to make a person, but I'd like to use a different pattern to make a person. So I'm going to make something called a person builder. So I'm going to say person builder. And that is going to have two. It's going to have 3 methods. So you're going to have a method called with first name. Person builder. Yeah, fine. Let's do it like this. I'm just going to pass for now while I skeleton this out. We're going to have def with surname. And I'm going to pass, and we're also going to say def build. and we are going to pass that as well. Okay, cool. So what's this person builder going to do? Well, it's going to allow us to build a person object. So we're going to start with a initialize function. I always do that. Init self, and we are going to say self dot first name equals well, self dot first name is going to be a string, so colon str, and it's just going to equal nothing. Okay, or let's do let's just do an empty string. I'm going to do self dot surname, which is a string as well. We're using these things called type hints here, which is the colon and then the definition of the type, just to let Python know that we like to expect a string. Because we're setting it as a string, I wasn't going to, but actually kind of, does it make sense to do that? I guess just to initialize it. You could do this a few different ways. You could do everything a million different ways. Let's just do, because we're setting it as a string, we don't actually need these type hints because we're literally saying, hey, this is an empty string, so it's kind of unnecessary. So with first name, so how do we get the first name? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to use this idea here, and we're going to put this here, but we're going to say self dot first name equals input. Okay, and then we're going to do the same for the surname. So we're going to print what is your surname. Instead of last name here, we're going to say self dot surname equals input surname. So now we've got these both stored on the builder. Also, what's really important with the builder pattern, we return self. So we return the builder back when we call this method, and it allows us to do something called method chaining, which you'll see in a minute. Return self. Build is going to return, and I'm going to put the return type here, a person. But it's not going to return person dot from user input. It's actually going to just return a person where first name equals self dot first name, and surname equals self dot surname. Okay, so when we call build, we get our person back. Cool. So we've got a person here, and now we've got a person builder, and this will allow us to build our person. So we're going to say person builder equals person builder. And we're going to say person builder dot with first name. And I'm going to say dot build. I'm going to say user equals, and then we're going to print our user, just so that we can see what's happening here. So Bob, Smith, Jim, Johnson, and Alice. And you'll notice it didn't ask us for a surname because we didn't call with surname. Okay, so we've got first name, we typed in Alice, and then we printed out this object, and you can see our first name was successfully set to Alice, but our surname is empty. And this is because we haven't set it using the builder. Also, what I'd like to do is I'd like to put these on separate lines just because it reads a lot better. So I'm going to put a space and then a backslash, and I'm going to press enter. And then I'm going to do the same here so that we start each thing with a dot. So user equals person builder dot with first name dot build. But we're also going to call dot with surname backslash. So our builder here is really important. The fact that we return self on our builder is really important, because when we call with first name, we do this stuff, we get our input, but then we return the builder, and the builder then is back here at this point, so we can then call with surname, because with surname is something on the builder, and that's what makes this pattern really nice. So we can build this user, and now we have built it with a first name and with a surname, and now if we run this again, Bob, Smith, Jim, Johnson. Run this again, Alice Cooper. Okay, now we can see the surname is in there because we used the with surname. It asked us for the surname and it's built it with the surname. It's built our whole person. So now we just need to print out hello, first name, last name, which I'm assuming we did do that, right? Hello, yep, okay, fantastic. Once again, we're going to use a string representation on our data class. So we're going to come down here and we're going to say def str, dundestra, and we're going to pop in self and str, and we are going to return. And now what we're going to do, I'm just going to use a little format string, and we're going to pop in 2 lots of that. Whether you add things together, like concatenate them, whether you use a format string or dot format, it really doesn't matter. It's your choice. Some things look better in different circumstances, and that's where it does matter. Apart from that, don't sweat it too much. So we're going to say self dot first name, self dot surname, and we're going to return that whenever we get a string representation of person. So at the moment, you can see that we're getting this like definition of the object here. Now that I've put this in, we should just be getting their name. So let's try it again. Bob, Smith, Jim. I don't know why I'm worrying about getting the spelling right on those ones. Alice Cooper. Okay, and there we go. We've printed it out. Once again, what we're going to do is we're going to just ensure that we have got these correctly. And I believe what we can do is at the end here, we can call .title. Yes. Title case is this. Words start with uppercase characters and all remaining cased characters have lowercase. So every word in a sentence will get capitalized. So let's test this out. So we're going to go Bob, Smith. I'm going to do Jim all in capitals and Johnson all in capitals. And you'll notice that Jim Johnson is printed out all in capitals there. Okay. Now if I do Alice Cooper, you'll notice because we called title case, that has actually dropped everything down to lowercase and then put the first letters up to uppercase, which is really nice. And you'll notice I did that after the string. So I've got my string here, and then I called .title on it to title case it. So now we've got a nicely controlled output, but I don't want to use print here, okay? And I'm not greeting them yet. So we need to do something about that. What can we do? Well, we could... what could we do? Do you know what? We could do... Oh, we could actually... Okay. Let's do this. Because we're advanced, let's do this. So I'm going to make a method called greet. And we are going to put self, and we're going to put a person, which is going to be of type person, which is this current class, and it's not going to like that. It's going to be like, what's a person? We're inside person. It's so confused. So we're going to come up here, and we're just going to whack here from future import. This is like a little bit of black magic. Import annotations, and that little line is going to make everything okay. So now when we come back down here, now it's like, oh, person. Yeah, I know what person is. I am person. So what we're going to do is to greet a person, we're going to print, and we're going to print a format string, and we're just going to say hello person. Okay. Cool. So now what we're going to do is we are going to make a greeter. We're going to make a receptionist, which is equal to a person. And that person's name is going to be Stephen. That's the first name. In fact, let's just... oh, hello. Hello. First name is Stephen. Sorry, I'm not saying hello to anyone apart from the screen. No one's walked in. I'm just saying hello. Stephen Smith, for lack of a better surname. Okay, that's our receptionist. And then down here, once we've got our user, our receptionist is going to greet and the person is going to be our user. Okay, so now we've got a person is actually capable of interacting with another person now, because we've got this greet method on the person which expects us to give it another person and it will greet that other person. So we've made a receptionist. Are you with me? Are you following me? We've got a receptionist, that's a person with first name Stephen, surname Smith. We've then got a person builder, which allows us to build a person with first name and with surname. I'm going to